Good morning, people. Let's have a thoughtful conversation this morning about a central topic here. I know I've got a lot of irons in the fire, but this one's on my mind this morning. What we are exploring here loosely on this channel is the possibility of creating what really is a Neo-Indigenous, well, let's say movement, or at least adopting a Neo-Indigenous strategy, personally, all of us, through the vehicle of these boats, a methodology by which we can find some kind of sensible systemic habitat that supports our basic needs, and that we can live healthy, constructive lives there. It's no different what we are trying to do here than the Polynesian voyages of discovery, nor the early immigrations of peoples to North America, or any of the rest of that. Human beings, when they find themselves in a situation which is dissatisfactory, if they are courageous and able, they move. And they move towards habitats or biomes or systems that then support their basic essential needs. And I think for many of us, it's quite conspicuous that the modern interface of Western civilization and the pressures of the technocratic control state are such that we are not able to express our healthy personhood and our ability to relate to reality in a manner that is congruent with our passions and desires, and we need to find another way of going about doing things. And again, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. The only reason that our way of looking at things here is an outlier is that we're preaching to a choir here of individuals who possess those four virtues that I find necessary to having a healthy relationship with reality. We are generally honest people here, generally intelligent people here. We are generally people who are courageous enough to accept what we discover in our inquiry, and we are generally individuals, I think, that are willing to act on all of that. And if there was a view that I was going to offer back from having been part of this lifestyle now for as long as I have, it's this: that the lion's share of the dissatisfactions that most of us feel in our lives are really not solvable from within the lifestyles that many of us currently live. They are not bugs, they are features. They're in essence essential qualities of living within a technocratic control state. Whether that's complaints about living a life without meaning, or with very poor quality relationships, or any of the other things that I hear very so much about, if one steps away from that kind of living and embraces a world in which suddenly the virtues that you wish to possess, right? Honesty, courage, intelligence, actionability, quality relationships, an authentic relationship with life, the ability to love, the ability to feel understood, the ability to relate, to be part of a larger system and purpose, that kind of stuff. If you simply embrace an environment in which those character traits are relevant, then you have them. That's a choice. You can move to a different environment in which suddenly those things you desire are abundant. And you have to ask, if you recognize that you can move from scarcity to abundance just by exercising your feet, you have to wonder what's wrong with individuals who, while feeling a deficit of the things they find most precious, simply are somehow unwilling to make the changes in their life to migrate a touch. I mean, you would think that there would be something wrong with your cattle if you were raising cattle and there was grass in one part of the pasture and dust in another, and the cattle were too dumb or unwilling or paralyzed or frightened or who knows what to literally walk across to the other side of the pasture to where the grass was. You would wonder what was going on there. And for anyone who's made a transition from the lifestyles of scarcity, at least scarcity in terms of every essential human need, to environments in which those needs are abundant, for anyone who's made that change, there is a certain kind of insanity and rigidity in those who are the slaves of the technocratic control state that once one has broken free from that, you can no longer understand. You can no longer understand. But while hard to understand for those who would want to adopt this seasteading lifestyle as I espouse it, as a Neo-Indigenous migratory movement away from the scarcity of civilization to something else, okay? Something that we find personally to be more abundant. It's important to understand that there is an aspect to this strategy that makes it unique, and that is the technological and engineered aspect. Okay, there's a qualitative difference between moving from winter pasture to summer pasture with your herd of reindeer than building a ship and moving into an environment that without that ship would be uninhabitable at all. Okay. It's important to make that overt if we understand that part of the reason, if not the majority of the reason, that we are seeking these new habitats to find environments in which the essential human needs that we feel that we are lacking are present in abundance. Well, if we are to a large degree not only moving to biomes that support that, but engineering them to a large degree, certainly at least engineering our interface with those to a large degree, then making it very clear that there are central needs that we are deliberately manipulating to assure that their presence remains ubiquitous in the environment. We want to be certain that we are moving into environments that support our needs, that we enhance those environments, all of the above, it's very hands-on and very creative. That's new. And while certainly you can find cultures throughout the world, certainly in Polynesia or on my coast here, of indigenous people who made a real attempt to enhance their natural environment, the seasteading aspect takes that a step further. It's very, very hands-on, and the level of technical commitment and understanding that is necessary to interface with it is probably higher than any other form of human habitation. That shouldn't frighten us. In fact, there's inherent rewards in that as well. So while certainly over the years we've discussed a lot of things like scarcity and resource depletion and environmental collapse and all of these other issues that are can seem terrifying and overwhelming, and in fact they do overwhelm most people. Most people lack the courage or the honesty or the intelligence or the actionability to face those realities squarely. but that may not be us. All right. Let's be clear. Even though all of those concerns are real, the message here is still one of courageous optimism. I mean, it's very yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Let's put a ship together and sail away to undiscovered territory where we can live as free people with an abundance of the things that make life happy and wonderful and humane. Like, that's it. It is just that at this point in time, the commitment to doing so may be significant. But that doesn't mean that the window of opportunity is closed as of yet. Certainly, to embrace this proactive vision of taking responsibility for your own future and to some degree your own reality, taking responsibility for all of that and engineering both of those, maybe beyond the courage or the technical ability of many. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's beyond your ability. And it's worth a try, and it's a heck of an adventure anyway, so why not? What's the alternative? Sit and complain? Well, anyway, thanks very much for my ramble. Just thought I'd say that. Brouhaha. Let's embrace the inherent optimism of the shipyard. That's always a good thing. Over the winter here, it'd be kind of fun to expand the topic a little bit, maybe even through some video conferencing or Zoom calls or stuff of that nature. Part of the reason I'd like to do that, and I'd like to use like the Zoom interface, is, I mean, I've done the live stream thing in the past, but I'm more interested in talking with you than at you. I get kind of tired of this as it is, where it's me kind of screaming out into the void. There's a lot of you here too that have a lot to bring to the table, not just to me but to each other, and it would be fun if the interest was here to schedule perhaps a weekly or bi-weekly discussion where we can share how we are all, at least individually, making attempts to engineer our future, because I think that would be very helpful. There's more of us out there than we might think, actually. But we're busy folk, you know, so it can seem like there's not a lot going on. But I thought that would be fun over the winter, and maybe we can do that. So if there is interest, kind of let me know, and we'll schedule something up. But anyway, I've got a beautiful fall day. I'm going to go take a walk up the river and stretch the legs a little bit. Thought I'd just share this message of optimism with you, and I hope the day finds you well. Cheers, people.